In this video, we are going to go over a couple more practice problems in how to simplify rational expressions involving quadratic expressions. Let's dive into a couple more. So if you haven't already watch the first video on simplifying rational expressions with quadratic expressions before you watch this one. This is a good one too. Simplify, list the excluded values. So again, our numerator and denominator scream factor. So w squared plus 6w minus 72. Well, this factors into numbers that multiply to 72 that combine to 6. 6 and 12 would do that. So we have w and w. It would need to be plus 12 and minus 6, so they multiply to negative 72 and add to positive 6w. All over, now we've got factors down in the denominator. So you've got w and w. Now we need factors of 36 that combine to give us 15. 3 and 12 will do that. So w plus 3, w plus 12. 12 times 3 is 36, and they add together to give us 15. Nice. So now from here, before we go dividing out common factors, list your excluded values. We'll do that one mentally. So what can't w equal? Well, if w is negative 3, negative 3 plus 3 would give us 0. So w plus 3 equal to 0 is how we get that value. If w plus 12 equals 0, we'd have another problem. So w cannot equal negative 12 because negative 12 plus 12 gives us 0. And either of these values plugged into here would give us 0 since this is equal to that. Nice. Now all we have to do is cross out or factor out, divide out the common factors. The w plus 12s divide out and you're left with w minus 6 all over w plus 3. Remember, the w's do not divide out, the 6 and the 3 do not divide out. The order of operations tells us plug in a number for w, subtract 6, plug in a number for w, add 3, then divide. Not divide the w's and the 6 and 3's and then add and subtract. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so one last problem here. Again, screaming factor, let's factor away. So in the numerator, we've got x is definitely going to be leading the way in that binomial, and another binomial with an x there. The factors of 21 that combine to give us 10 would be 7 and 3, but they both have to be negative, so they multiply to give us a positive 21 and add together to give us a negative 10. That is all over. We need a greatest common factor here that we can factor out. 2 times x squared would give us 2x squared minus 2x, because 2 times minus 2x is minus 4x, and 2 times minus 35 would give us minus 70. So we have yet more factoring to do. We'll keep going. No problems. We got patience, don't we? You might be like, no, Mr. Good, I don't have patience. Okay, so I'm copying the numerator right now. I bring down that greatest common factor that doesn't get left behind. And now I'm going to factor values that multiply to 35 that combine to give us negative 2. Well, we know there's x and x to give us x squared. 7 and 5 are 2 apart. And if I get minus 7 and plus 5, that'll multiply to negative 35. Negative 7 and 5 add to negative 2. Ooh, I see what's going to divide out, but list your common factors. So x cannot equal 2. 2 will never equal 0, but 7 minus 7 would give us 0. So x can't be 7. And if x is negative 5, we would get 0. So x can't equal negative 5. Now let's divide out the common factors. The minus 7s, the x minus 7s divide out. You're left with x minus 3 up top, all over 2 times x plus 5. Now depending on your teacher, they might have you distribute out the 2x to get 2x, or the 2 to the x and the 5 to get 2x plus 10. I'm fine having you leave it that way. That's it, peeps. A little more practice for simplifying rational expressions. See you next time.